Jen here with a new layout for the Shotz design team. I am so excited to announce that I'm part of this team. There's so much talent here, and what a lovely, lovely bunch of scrapbookers. Yeah, I'm really, really excited, and I've been holding it in. I haven't shared it yet. I was waiting for this layout to be able to share it. So yay, I'm so happy. Shotz is an online store that's local to me here in Alberta, but you can hop on from anywhere and take a look. They've got all kinds of scrapbooking supplies, card making, mixed media, art journaling, whatever kind of paper crafting you do, you're going to find something there. I will leave the links down below so you can be sure to check it out. Tons and tons of fun. If you have been to the Great Canadian scrapbook carnivals, you definitely know the Shotz ladies. They always have a giant booth filled with the best goodies, and I'm sure you've probably stopped by and said hello. They do lives all the time and just tons and tons of stuff, lots of inspiration. So I will be sure to include all of the links for everybody so you can go and check them all out. I'm starting things off by launching the summer challenge. So this is a challenge that they host that is in their group. Link for that is also down below. And essentially you've got the month of July and the month of August to play with this color palette that I showed at the beginning, that beautiful rainbow of colors. Upload your projects and put them in the album that's in the group, and you could be entered to win a gift certificate. So play along for July and August. You can create projects, cards, layouts, whatever you feel most inspired to create, and just be sure to go ahead and join the group and put everything into that album. So good luck and have tons of fun. This is such a beautiful, summery, fun palette. I'm sure you'll be able to find some great inspiration from it. You don't have to do a rainbow. You get to interpret it however you want to, but I saw that rainbow and instantly thought, I need to play with some mixed media and play with these colors and see what I can do. And then also a little bit of the inspiration for this layout just came from the fact that I was actually looking at the colors on my phone when it was dark. And so the screenshot that I showed you at the very beginning of the video, that was what I was kind of looking at when I took the screenshot, and the background of my phone was black because my phone does that. During the day it's white, and at night it goes to black, and I just really loved the way that black popped all of those beautiful colors. And so that's what really inspired me, and that's kind of where I was going with this layout. I also just haven't really pulled out my inks and done too much as far as mixed media goes, and so I really, really wanted to play with that, and I just love being able to try to blend the different medias and see how I can layer them up and see how they kind of all work together. And, my goal was really just to mix a few different things like you saw there, the distress inks, some watercolors, some mists that I splattered to try to match those colors as close as possible. So I pulled out the distress inks that I thought would work the best. The only color I didn't really have that I thought was a good match was orange. So that one is, sorry, I'm saying this wrong. I used all distress oxides except the orange. That one is just the standard distress ink. So I went ahead and I smushed those right across the paper. I think that's probably my favorite technique as far as the way that it looks on paper. And so oftentimes I'll just leave it. I'll just do the swipe of color and leave it like that. I love the way it picks up the textures from the paper. I love the little lines that it might create depending on your particular ink pad. If you have little pills and things that come up on the ink pad, you might get different swipes that are more or less concentrated. Depending on how you push down on it, you might push down a little harder, leaning to one side or another. So you just get this really cool look, and I love that. But I thought I'd go ahead and manipulate it a little bit, because probably my second favorite look is once you spray it with water and kind of let those oxides, especially once you let those drip, and then it softens all of those lines and you get this really beautiful kind of watercolor effect, but a lot more concentrated than your watercolors. Or I guess you don't have to use as much water to get that concentration of look, but you get this beautiful kind of blending. So that's what I started off with. I knew the orange probably wouldn't run as much as the rest. It does run a little bit, but it just kind of settles into the paper a lot faster than the oxides, which kind of sit on top of the paper. And so I knew that one probably wouldn't quite look the same as the rest, but that's okay with me. I knew I wanted to add a ton of extra textures on top of this, so I just went for it. So I smushed them all down, and then I went ahead and I sprayed them and just let them drip and soften some of those lines a little bit. And then I splattered with some watercolors, and then I splattered with some mists. They all kind of sit on top of each other in different ways, and the colors are all slightly different one from the other. So I kind of felt like you would naturally be able to see some of those layering of textures and mediums, which you can a lot better in real life than you see here. But I went ahead and did all of that, put it over to the side, let it dry completely, and kind of went through some of my stash looking for some of the right colors, and got myself some background paper. That's like a shimmery black background. I thought that would be a really pretty, just kind of unique touch rather than a solid black. And then once it was dry, I pulled out a bunch of stamps. And so the pictures that I'm using, you can see in the background, have those rainbow colors. They also have black and white. And then up above, it's one of those murals that's painted on windows. And so when you stand in front of it, it looks like you have wings. And then it says I am. And then all throughout the wings, it says different things that you are: smart, amazing, wonderful, talented, that kind of stuff. So I was looking for stamps that were mostly words that I would be able to stamp and do sort of tone on tone in each of these sections, and then just kind of mimic that feel of the words from the butterfly wings. So I picked things that said, I have one stamp set that is sort of like for planning, I guess. And so there's a blank line and it says I feel, and then blank, and then you can fill it in with a bunch of words. So they're sad and happy and silly and noisy and quiet and things like that. So not necessarily the exact same words that are in the butterfly wings, and not all of them are super like motivational or anything like that, but that's okay, because I don't think you're going to necessarily take the time to just sit and read all of those little words. I just wanted to have that same impression. So you saw letters and you see that words are there. I also pulled out a little star and some hearts. I pulled out a stamp from Wild Whisper in the Focus on You collection way back from the very beginning. That collection is sort of a motivational collection that's all about yourself, taking care of yourself and documenting yourself. And so the one stamp says like survivor, fierce, strong. I can't remember what the last one is, but I stamped that a couple of times as well. And so you saw I just took each of the inks that I used and took a few different stamps and kind of stamped around and filled in some of those spaces. I didn't want to completely fill it up with stamping, but I wanted to have a few little words kind of tone on tone popping in there. I love how this turned out. It looks so cool, and you can see all these different layers and levels of color and texture, and I just love it. So the other thing I want to say too is I knew ahead of time that I was going to be ripping these strips apart because I wanted the black to be coming through each of the strips. And so I was going for kind of that grungy, distressed look. If this is too much for you and you want it to be more clean, you could definitely just do the swipes and then do some stamping on top. You can kind of take it to the level of distressed that you want. Or I actually love the way that the background turned out just on its own, and you could have used that too without ripping them and putting them onto a different background. You could have left it on the white. I think that would have looked really good if you left it on the white, did some tone on tone embellishing, and then used some black embellishments, or maybe some black splatters or some black text or something like that to kind of make the colors pop. And again, you get that black and the white and then those beautiful rainbow colors. So definitely lots of ways that you could do this same style. But I kind of liked that grungy texture. And I think this is a case of a more is more kind of layout, where if you're going to go for it, you throw it all in there and get lots of texture and lots of different shapes and lots of different words and interest and stuff. And it just feels right. I just love how it turned out. So I ripped my strips. I used a little stamping block to kind of help me so I didn't end up ripping through too many of the colors, or ripping where I didn't want to. Got them all down to the sizes that I want. I started by sticking them up at the top and secured them really well, and then rolled up from the bottom. And I just rolled up enough that I would be able to tuck some of the two pictures, not some of the pictures, the two pictures that I'm using. I kind of tucked them in down at the bottom and left a little space for my title, and then just, roll them all at different levels. And then I went through all of my little embellishments. Those are all from last year's summer How to Kill a Kit with Style kit. I had them in a little travel bag, and I've just kind of kept them beside me and played around a little bit with them throughout the fall, winter, spring months. And now I've pulled it back out for summer to kind of go through it and create my new kit. So I pulled out all of the elements from different die cuts. Some of those I think are Rosie Studio die cuts, and there's just a mishmash of different die cuts in there. Just looking for the right colors with a little bit of variation, a little bit of contrast, but trying to stick pretty close to those right colors. I found a couple things that had some gold foil in them, so I tried to spread that out and have some gold foil in all of my little strips of color. And then I also found a couple really cute little kind of grayscale things, a little butterfly that was gray, and a black heart, and a kind of white heart with a blackish background. So I pulled those out too, so I have a little tiny embellishment down beside my pictures just to kind of bring the eye back down to those pictures. I think it naturally does that because your strips are running vertically, but I just like to have that little embellishment there. It's kind of a spot for your eye to rest and then take in the pictures. So I really tried to vary the placement of my little clusters as well as the different shapes and words, but also wanted them to be balanced so one color didn't necessarily have more than any other. They all sort of have two little sections of cluster. And yeah, I just had fun with it. There's really no right way to do this. You just throw things down and see how they look, and put them all together, nestle them into the right places, and that's where they land. And I think it turned out really good. I love it. And so once I had my little strips done, then I put my little title in. It says I am me. I wasn't sure what to title it. I was looking for something that said amazing, where I could put like I am amazingly me, or I am an amazing me, or something along those lines, but I didn't really find anything, and I didn't have teeny tiny little alphas that I thought might work, so I just left it as I am me, and I think that that's great. The pictures are of both of my sons, and Kaylin actually has a larger photo that I printed, and I've already scrapped, so I think these are going to look really good together and kind of match each other really well. And so once I got all of my embellishments in place, I decided to go for some different types of sequins. So I just pulled out random things. I've got some really tiny fine sequins. I've got some bigger chunky sequins. I've got some of the flat back pearls in there. And I just scattered those throughout each of the strips, and then a couple of clear sequins down where the title is and the picture is. And that's it. That is my layout. Oh, I did a white sketchy border because you guys know that's what I love to do. I think it turned out so good. I absolutely love it. Thank you so, so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please go and check out Scrap Shotz, join their group, and I can't wait to keep creating more for them. Thanks so much, guys. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.
Bye. Thanks to me. What about the channel?